I'm Tammy Hudgeon, and I live on a little tiny island off of the west coast of Canada. Very creative, artistic place that I live. I don't live here alone. There's 5,000 people live on this little island, but it's an amazing hotbed of creatives of all types. And I've been making art for about 20 years, well, over 20 years, but professionally for around 20 years. I'm an author because I made my book with Liberate with Sabrina.
So beautiful.
Yeah, so
right
this
here.
is this book ties into my book that I was able to create because of Liberate. It speaks to really what I believe that I stand for, which is what a lot I've built upon since I made the book, is creative freedom and sovereignty, and to allow myself to express in whatever way I want to express and create in whatever mediums that I want to create in, and including in my whole life, like not just with art materials, but the art of my life. And so I've become, artist, then author, and now artist, teacher, and creative guide as well. So it's kind of, there's this circle that has come about, and it's come about. The book has been a major portal for me to just, it allowed me to, there's lots of visuals, but there's also pages where there's text. So my actual story gets in here too, which is like, I could have made a book that was all visuals and it would have been really, really pleasing to me. And maybe quotes from other people and stuff, but it was like, this was a story. My story was a story that I really needed to own and claim and find the power in for myself, and to really take it in and let myself digest it in a way that I hadn't previously. So
did that kind of come about in Liberate? That kind of shift happen a bit?
Yeah, for sure. Because starting Liberate, I just knew I wanted a beautiful, yummy, yummy, yummy book, right? And I knew you were the one who could help me make that. I mean, I remember asking you before Liberate existed, like, please.
Yeah. I think you're one of the people that I remember exactly where I was in my backyard. And I remember it like it was yesterday. It was before I created it. It was after Untether, and I think you kind of prompted the question of asking for that, and I think I was like, okay, let me get to work on it.
Yeah, and what a gift.
Yeah, it's likewise. It feels so good to witness. So you, through the process of Liberate, you sort of came into your story, or that sort of started to come through?
Yeah, because I wanted to make a beautiful book. It was really important that but gritty, the way I wanted to have the contrast of earthy and vibrant and kind of gritty and really beautiful too. And I wanted all of that, like me. I wanted me.
Yeah.
All the pieces of me. And so once I started to see that I could get the visuals, then the story, which I'd sort of been, I'm not sure, right? So definitely that happened during the course of Liberate, and the times where we would get together and talk and write about, just different prompts and things to like spark, what is it that's really wanting to be birthed here. And it became clear, I would say a few weeks in, that there was this story that I couldn't ignore. Like it really had to be the first book. Like I actually think I'll make more books. But this one had to be first.
Yeah.
This one had to happen before anything else could happen, really,
Yes.
in book form. And even if I only put it out and made the one copy, like it needed to come through. It was like it was in the front, like
Yeah.
it was twins. It's the first baby. Like it can't, the other one can't get,
Oh.
nothing's gonna get past till that comes. So
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah.
And it's a great reminder too, like everything doesn't have to go in one book.
Yes. And you said that. And you
Mhm.
said that, and it was like, oh my God, that's a relief. Like, yeah, because there's so much more I could have elaborated on, right? I really needed to keep this so that I could actually do it and follow through and
Mhm.
have a completion, have a book.
Yeah.
Because there's places in this book where there could have been, the concept is big enough that it could have been expanded upon and
Yeah.
much bigger, right? But that wasn't really, like, I needed to just keep it contained, keep it my story. I mean, it was really helpful. My partner also, who's very good with words, and he really helped me to brainstorm ideas too, as when I would take away all the content that I had from Liberate and all of my papers, and because I'm a real tactile, so I didn't do that much of the writing in the computer until I had to, right?
Yeah.
It was handwritten, and there was pages and pages and big scratch throughs and crumpled, and he really helped me to just keep honing in on what is the heart of the story,
Yeah.
what's really. And then, because I can go on, it's very easy for me to go on tangents in conversation as well. So how to keep bringing it back and getting like just the real juice, that's the real essence and the medicine that's wants to be shared.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And what's kind of been, what was it like releasing it, and what's kind of been your response you've gotten from people?
Well, it's really interesting because I imagined when I had a book release, I would have like a party. I would rent a space and I'd have a party, because like I said, it's a very creative island. People would come, like that would be really, people would have come out, lots of people, to a book reading and a book launch party. And I imagined having my painted pieces, hanging on the wall of this public gallery space. But it was the pandemic. It was the first spring of the pandemic when my book was done. So in a way, so I did a Facebook Live, and me and my partner, he filmed me, and I did a reading here in my studio. I got all dressed up and had my stacks of books, and then in a way it was kind of, it's interesting that happened that way, because that was my first Facebook Live, and now I've gone on to do so many more as a result of what's transpired because of the book.
Yeah.
And my readiness to move into the next level of my life, really.
Yes.
So that Facebook Live, because we were so amateur, and yet we had so much fun, and it was okay. It didn't matter, right? Like,
Yeah.
And people watched, and then, lots of people bought the book off my website, and I had so many good comments, just all within just a few days. It was local people were buying it from my website, so that, because they couldn't come, but they could come pick it up. So people were coming and going for days, picking their books up. And then I was wrapping the books in some of the big pieces of paper that I had created to make backdrops for the pages in the book. So then I was wrapping each individual book like that and signing it. No, it was like,
wow. Can you share any of the kind of comments you got, or?
Oh, I had so many comments, so many. And I wasn't at a time where I was tracking, I just wasn't tracking that as much as I could have, but I have quite a few emails, so I was able to look back. And here's one person who said, I have finished reading your book and really did not want it to end. A few times I was in tears. Tammy, you're such a brave woman to be able to look at yourself and work through these anxieties, not only identify, but be able to share with all of us. Little would one expect that your life has been fraught with insecurities when your work speaks volumes about your outlook, views of the animal world, the environment, and kindness to all living things.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah. And then another one. Oh, Tammy, I've been meaning to write to you and tell you how much I loved your book. I devoured it in one sitting. It is so beautifully expressed, and I have so much admiration for your honesty and bravery. And then there's more there, but then another one. I picked up my book yesterday. I started reading it. Wow, wow, wow. It's beautiful. It's authentic. It's inspiring.
Oh,
And then at the end, then I think it must have already been talking about a class. And because at the end of it, she said, I'm very interested in your online class.
yes.
And then something else that just happened just before Christmas was this woman named Leonie Dawson. Like, she's a super famous creative entrepreneur. And my book ended up on one of her books of the year's list from 2021.
Wow.
I know. And she writes, visually stunning book on creative bravery. Absolutely adored it.
Oh, it's so fantastic. Wow.
And on her, she had this on her list of, she had pictures of all the different books, and my book was in between Austin Kleon and Elizabeth Gilbert. Like, that's so funny.
So great. How
Yeah.
wonderful.
So I could take that by like many times.
Yeah.
And read more. Like, there was just so much good response. It was, yeah, it was really, it's like I was surprised and not surprised in a way. Like, there's a part of me that knew, but there was a part of me that was like, wow, people are really this book is really creating energy in people.
Yeah.
Like, people are, wow, crying. I've heard that several times, people crying, and it's like,
release. It's like your release helped other people release emotions.
Yeah. And man, like, when I read it now, like, I love it. I love my book. And I could go way deeper, obviously, right? Like, it's not, I didn't want it big, and I didn't want to, but like, I really kind of skimmed the surface. But I guess I hit the points that people can relate to around creativity. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's been an amazing experience, and I wouldn't be where I'm at doing what I'm doing if I hadn't created the book.
Yes.
Like, the book had to happen first.
Talk a little bit about the platform that's created for you.
There was a platform for me already, but I was too scared to stand on it. Because people have been asking me either outright or just the energy of stepping into a leadership role. And I was scared to death to do that. I could do it one-on-one, like in my studio talking to someone, or in a very, very small group, but to have an opinion and actually state it and stand in it within a bigger group, that felt real. Like, even right now I can feel like, it's a place. So I think that the response to my book, it helped me to in a way get out of myself. Like, there's more to it than, it's like, it allowed me to get out of my own way, because this path is here, it's open, it's waiting, and I'm the only one who's not letting myself walk down.
Yes.
Yeah.